Hello, beautiful ones. I am Teresa Stone of Lightworker Navigation, and it is my honor and my joy to bring forward the February intuitive guided message. Honestly, it has felt so long since I sat down and did the January guided message. So much has happened for me personally over the course of January. And I know as we look into the collective standpoint, society, we definitely have seen a lot of shifts as well. There's been a lot of big movements and a lot of things taking place. And much of what has unfolded for me personally did come from sitting in reflection and review, especially of the 2024 goals and intentions that I set over the course of the year. So much has shifted for me with my relationships, with my perspective on a lot of things. And I did receive a few insights as well in which direction I was wanting to go, and which direction I'm being pulled and guided to go. That would be a more accurate term, which is really interesting for me to see. And I'm excited to see how things continue to unfold for myself. So I do hope that you all have used these last few months, really since October, to sit in this reflective review energy, looking at your goals, your intentions of where you've been and where you are now and where you'd like to go as you're sitting in that stillness, in that silence, and in that reflective energy. And as we step into February, we're going to see a lightening of all this heavy, dense energy that the planets in retrograde have been creating for us. That just collectively, there's just been this dense energy that's almost kind of been hanging over us, keeping us kind of in this almost like a bubble of reflective review, like dense, quiet energy. And as we move into February, we're going to see that lifting. We're going to see the planets stationing direct. Yes, we do have Venus going into retrograde come March, so it's already in its shadow period. But for the most part, we're going to feel this lightening, this lifting of energy. Things are going to feel a little softer for us. However, we are moving into Pisces, and Pisces does bring emotional, I guess, what's the best word to say that? Emotional embracing, I guess we could kind of go with that. It brings up the emotions that we may or may not want to experience, or we may or may not enjoy. And so there could be a bit of emotional turmoil or emotions running high. We might be more sensitive when it comes to things that normally wouldn't bother us or affect us in any way. So there is that to consider as we move into February. The main thing is we're going to see that lightning, and we're going to also be able to start seeing the positive trajectory of our steps forward. So with all that being said, I'd love to just dive right into the cards right now and see what they have to say and see what kind of guidance and wisdom we have to help support us further. Oh, there's our first card. Step into your power. That's beautiful. Step into your power. So as we move into February, we're going to have opportunities to step in further to embracing our power. This doesn't mean that we go around acting as tyrants, forcing our beliefs and our opinions on people. It means that we come back to ourselves and we set those boundaries and we stand in our true essence of who we are. And we live from this very grounded, connected, multidimensional aspect, self, where we are a whole picture, that we reclaim our sovereignty, we reclaim our freedom, we reclaim our, like, the liberation. And we stand in our own power by just being authentic and showing up for ourselves and looking at how we can support ourselves with, self-care, with like loving ourselves, liking ourselves, and doing things that help us shine and help us become more of our true divine brilliance and wake up to that true divine brilliance, that innateness that we all hold. So when we stand in our power, it means we are grounded, we are dynamic, we are holding this beautiful space of love and compassion and kindness, honoring ourselves with our boundaries, not being doormats or people pleasers. And we are being able to listen with compassion and hold space for others. And we're also able to hold space for ourselves. And we can dive in to being of greater service and working towards our goals in a very dynamic and supportive way. So that's interesting as we move into February. Let's see what else this deck has to say for us. I love how there's some sacred geometry in that deck as well. Here we go. That was very clear. Take a breather. This is very interesting. So as and in retrospect, it's interesting because even though we have been invited to sit in stillness and we have been invited to reflect and review on our goals and our intentions that we set over the course of 2024 and where we are, and where we were wanting to move forward over these last couple of months. Many of us were so busy with the holiday season, with making sure that, the kids were cared for over their time off of school, getting back into the groove of January, making sure all of our bills were paid, everything was done. January can sometimes be just as busy as December when we get back into the groove of things and we want to, get going on all of those goals and those intentions that we're really excited to get going forward with for the year. And this card here is definitely a blatant reminder that if we have been going and pushing ourselves, or really just in this busy mindset, it is time for us to stop, take a pause, and breathe. It is with our breath that we get grounded. We find that stillness, that 0 point field. And that 0 point field is very powerful. That is where we hold our power. It is within that reflective, grounded presence that we can take the breath and we can become the observer, seeing what's unfolding around us, so that we can actually take those guided action steps, those inspired action steps. So that is interesting how take a breather showed up. So if you've been doing too many things, or maybe not necessarily supporting yourself in the best way, maybe it's time now to do some self-care, to step into self-care, go for a walk, have a relaxing bath, or just, sleep, give yourself an extra hour of sleep in the morning, or, go to bed an hour early. Whatever it is that you can nurture yourself with. Maybe it's you're going to change your diet a little bit and you're going to eat a little bit more healthy. Just have some fun, take some time for yourself, and take a breather and just pause. That is good. That is very powerful. That is a very powerful way to step into your own power, is to take a breather, pause, and reflect. Now, is there another card from here? I do feel there's one more, actually. Maybe there isn't. Oh, there it is. So we're being now invited to push through any insecurities. So I'm sure this is not lost on us, as we are always presented with opportunities that help us to grow. So as we may be presented with these opportunities, we're being invited to push through those energies. Another card actually fell out when I was getting this deck ready for the reading, and it was focus on the positive. And so as we are pushing through those insecurities, we're being invited to look at what's really arising around us. It's being authentic with ourselves and standing in that energy, standing in that power, and looking at what's arising around us so that we can focus on a positive. Now, this is not to say that we negate or ignore, our emotions and what's really arising around us, but we're being asked to push through those insecurities and focus more on the positive. See things for the gifts that they really are. See things for how they're helping you grow. And what tidbits and golden little nuggets can you take away from the experience to help push through the insecurities that you may be feeling and move forward into a more positive mindset or a more positive direction that is fully supported with that goal and that intention that you're wanting to bring forward? Because it's very likely that that goal, that intention, I know for myself, speaking for myself personally, is going to be pushing me outside of my comfort zone. It is pushing me outside of my comfort zone. And as it does this, it is bringing up insecurities. There is little pieces of doubts and worries and concerns that kind of come up as I'm working into that. So we're just being asked to push through those insecurities and focus on a more positive outlook. More, okay, this is happening, but how can I respond by supporting myself and standing in my power? Taking that breath to move forward in a more positive, dynamic way that allows me to bring greater compassion and joy and love into my intentions, into my goals, into my relationships, into all areas, in all aspects of my life. So that is beautiful. It's wonderful. Even though we do have lighter energy for February, we are still human. We're still human, and we're having these very real, very human experiences. And some of them are preferred and some of them are not. Okay, I did feel there was a card from here. We'll see what wants to come through. This is such a beautiful deck. Paradigm shift. Oh, and endless possibilities. Oh, that's really beautiful. I was told to take the second card too in this one. So, wow. Yes, what a beautiful card to get. So, as we are pushing through our insecurities, what that's going to do for us is give us a paradigm shift. It is going to shift our perspective. It's going to shift us from this low vibrational, heavy, thick, dense energies that we've been in. And it's going to move us into a new paradigm, a new perspective, a new lighter energy. Just as we are holding that beautiful space for ourselves, standing in our power, that is going to attract more unloving, compassionate, kind, loving energy that is just naturally going to lift us up. It's naturally going to align us with our goals, with our intentions. And so this card is inviting us to have a paradigm shift. And that is something that often happens as we are pushing through our insecurities and we're unraveling those limiting beliefs, those limiting patterns as we're reflecting into those. And this card is so wonderful as a confirmation that there's endless possibilities for us. There's endless opportunities for us to embrace and embark upon. And as we are moving out of this very heavy, dense energy that the last couple of months has been offering us. And we move into this lighter energy of February. This card is so wonderful to receive because we are now in this lighter forward momentum energy. This card here is also a good confirmation for us to take the blinders off. Take those blinders off so we can see the doors that are before us, so that we can embark on those opportunities and step into those doors. Oftentimes, the universe is bringing us those, our guides are bringing us these amazing opportunities. But yet we have these blinders on because we get too tunnel focused on, okay, well, this is my intention or this is my goal. And we think it has to happen in one way. We have these expectations or these attachments to these goals, these intentions, and it puts blinders on. It puts these blinders up, and we cannot see all of the endless possibilities. And I know that I am very much guilty of this, but I am doing my very best to take those blinders off and have a paradigm shift so that I can actually see, as from an outside perspective, from an observer role, all of the endless possibilities, all the doorways. Because sometimes we think that things have to happen one way when the universe is saying, no, 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 it can actually happen in multiple ways. And when we allow those intentions and those goals to be open ended, as in, okay, universe, this or something better, it creates this beautiful relationship that we get to experience with the universe as we step in to creating those goals and those intentions with the universe as the co-creators that we are. And so when we can take down the blinders and we can open up our focus, standing in our power, taking that breather to be grounded and still so we can hear the guidance when it comes in, and pushing past those insecurities. So when things come up and we get really excited about them, we get these beautiful insights, we get these beautiful bursts of inspiration, and we get so excited, and it fills us with such joy and such, love and such excitement. And then maybe we start to think about it, or we start to feel into it a little further, and then we go, oh, I can't do that, or oh, this, or maybe we share it with a loved one, and then the loved one goes, oh, well, you can't do that. Then it starts to deflate it, and it starts to sink in, and then we close that door, and then we don't want to look at the next one, and we don't want to look at the next one. So push past the insecurities. Sometimes we have to keep opportunities that come our way close to our heart and close to us, and we don't share them with people, except for we can write about it, we can journal about it, share it with our guides, or if you do have that really close friend that you can share those with, then you have a support person that can kind of be your soundboard and just your big cheerleader. But for the most part, we really want to take those blinders off. We want to leave our intentions and our goals open-ended so that we can become the co-creators with the universe and creating these amazing goals and with amazing intentions without limiting ourselves, without those expectations, without those attachments on how we think it has to be, when in retrospect, the universe has something far greater for us in store. So that is really beautiful. Now, I know the dragons were chomping at the bit. No, they don't chomp at bits like horses, but with that said, they definitely want to have their say here. So the card that popped out here, it just flew right out of the deck. It was the Silver Lunar Dragon. So it bathes us in divine feminine light. Come into balance and practice peace, harmony, and cooperation. Expand the causal chakra. So this is a very interesting energy to be working with the dragon here, the silver lunar dragons. So they're bringing in the divine feminine light, which we have been working with collectively for quite some time, bringing in that balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. But really where this card is guiding me to explore is talking about the balance and the practice of peace and harmony and cooperation. So as we move into February, from all of this dense energy, and we're moving into a lighter energy, taking that breath, standing in our power, looking for the endless possibilities and receiving those paradigm shifts and moving past our insecurities, we need to find a balance with peace, harmony, and that inner state. And how we do that is with our breath and getting grounded and finding that still point within us. So that is really interesting. And it does help to expand us and it bathes us in this feminine, divine feminine light. I absolutely love that. So that's really, really cool that we're going to be working a little further with that. And oh, there was one more dragon that wanted to come out. So the dragon here is the royal blue and gold dragon. Helps to strengthen you to stand in your power with wisdom. Oh, well, this just pairs in with this here. Isn't that just lovely? It awakens you to your own majesty. Wear your cloak of power with pride. What a beautiful card to remind us to stand in that wisdom, to stand in our divine truth and wisdom, and step into our power. What a beautiful card to validate this. And I can see how the word, so as I was feeling into the energies of February and what was wanting to come through, the word that the guides were giving me was honesty. And I can see now with these cards here where honesty is fitting in, because as we are taking that time to reflect, and we've been invited to take that time to reflect, yeah, we can lay out everything and say, okay, here's what's happened, here's where I've been, here's where here's where I'm at. And we can say, okay, here's where I want to go. But sometimes we miss the authenticity, the being honest with ourselves. And I'm not talking about, just that, oh, that happened. I'm talking about really being honest and looking at your role in what has transpired. So it's being honest about where you're at, what arose, what part you played, and how you, and maybe how your actions maybe led to the outcome that was maybe not preferred, or even if it was preferred, so that you can see the truth in everything. So you can see your truths. You can use that discernment to really create the paradigm shift for you. So reflecting on your true honesty, like being authentic with what has really unfolded and what are you really feeling. So just feel into how honest you are with yourself, especially with what has transpired up till now as you've been doing your reflection. So I really think that is interesting. That's a very interesting word as we reflect in with these cards. Fairies have anything to say? We'll see. Well, okay, maybe. Hidden depths. Oh, this is interesting. Something hidden is about to come to light, perhaps a secret or a memory at the back of your mind. When we expose what's hidden, we can become free. Now, this, again, pairs in with honesty and being authentic with ourselves. So really look at what's transpired around you. Look at your relationships. Look at how you show up for yourself every day. And be honest with your actions. Be honest with the role that you are playing in your experiences. And remember that this honesty will help you shift into more of your innateness. And I love that. So thank you, little fairies, for sharing your beautiful wisdom. So that is really delightful as we move into the month of February. I love how all these cards just created a very dynamic image asking us to dive deeper, to go deeper, and to stand more in this beautiful divine power and this beautiful divine wisdom and love and strength and truth. It is such a beautiful invitation for us to dive into. And with that, I bid you adieu. So have fun, beautiful ones. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for showing up for yourselves and being there and being authentic and being true and honest. Have a glorious, glorious February, and I will connect more with you for March's intuitive guided message.